Hi, welcome to Audiobook Academy. This is a self-paced audiobook. There's no need to keep an eye on things. Just pay attention. Thank you for taking the time to listen. This is a book summary of Girl, Wash Your Face, Stop Believing the Lies About Who You Are So You Can Become Who You Were Meant to Be. By Rachel Hollis. Wash your face, girls. Let go of the lies you've been telling yourself in order to become the person you were meant to be. Through the eyes of Rachel Hollis. Reclaiming one's power is the focus of Rachel Hollis's best-selling book Girls, Wash Your Face, which offers practical advice on how to do so. Change begins with each of us, and it can't be done by relying on others or asking questions we already know the answers to. Have you accepted that this is your life and nothing will change? Rachel Hollis, sporting a Louis Vuitton handbag, makes her way to the stage left, ready to give us all the motivation we need. Rachel Hollis is a role model for younger girls because of her no-nonsense approach to tough love. Hollis penned Girl, Wash Your Face in response to the countless emails and messages she receives on a daily basis. She did, however, discover that all of the questions are merely variations on a single universal theme. After realizing that she was giving women generic answers that reassured them that anything is possible, she realized that she also needed to get real. As Hollis's struggles are depicted, we are given the courage to make the necessary changes in our own lives. With helpful and practical wisdom, girl talk, and Bible quotations, each chapter addresses a common lie that we tell ourselves. You are in charge of your own life, sister, and there isn't a single thing in it that you are not allowing to be there. Outside influences and influencers shouldn't control happiness. While perusing social media, have you ever wondered, why can't my life be like that? You've probably also thought about how fortunate other people seem to be in comparison to your own situation. As a lifestyle and social media influencer, Rachel Hollis understands how easy it is to get sucked into the social media whirlpool, and she's here to help you get out of it. All of us are subject to impression management at some point or another, according to Irving Goffman's definition of front stage versus backstage work. On social media, the majority of what we see is a staged depiction of reality. We are not privy to what's happening behind the scenes. As a result, we are oblivious to everything that is going on around us. Most of the time, our social media activity is a form of impression management, where we try to portray the best version of ourselves to the people we interact with. As a result, from the outside looking in, we see a picture of perfection rather than reality. There is no such thing as a perfect life, according to Hollis, and we must take responsibility for our happiness. There are several things we can all do to better our lives: cultivate a grateful attitude, stop looking at others for comparison, purge our lives of negative influences, and do what brings us joy. According to Hollis, scheduling in happiness and making time for the things that bring us joy is one of the most important things we can do. So get down to business and begin compiling a list of all the things that bring you joy. When and how to say yes and no. Remember the last time you put your interests and desires ahead of those of others? The number of times have you promised yourself that you'd run, or do some yoga, or just sit down and read a chapter of your favorite book? Often, it's someone else's needs that prevent us from exercising, attending a yoga class, or reading the book that's been gathering dust on our bedside table. Breaking our promises to ourselves tells us we aren't worth it and that other people are more important than our own happiness. It's important to instill a sense of responsibility in ourselves, according to Hollis. It may seem insignificant, but by honoring even the smallest of commitments, we are able to keep our larger commitments to ourselves. The takeaway here is that if you can master the small tasks, you'll develop the mentality necessary to tackle the larger ones. Be realistic about your abilities and limitations and avoid taking on too much. Being truly accountable means acknowledging when you are being lazy, procrastinating, or genuinely busy or in need of rest. You can also do this by not letting others derail or deny your dreams. To those who have heard that their dreams don't matter or that they lack the ability to achieve their goals, don't believe them. Your hopes and aspirations are important, and you must not give up. Say yes to daydreaming and to making up your own fantasies. Hollis believes that fantasies and dreams have helped her achieve many of her goals in life. When she received her first substantial paycheck, she decided to treat herself to a Louis Vuitton handbag, a dream she'd always had. Despite the hefty price tag, it served as a powerful symbol of her confidence in herself and her chosen path. It's important to avoid unrealistic expectations of what it means to be a mother, such as expecting motherhood to be effortless and always feeling like you're in touch with your child. Many women experience postpartum depression, And it has nothing to do with your inability to love or your feeling inadequate. The best advice is to focus on your own well-being and the well-being of your child. That's all there is to it. As your child gets older, it's okay to say no to extracurricular activities and volunteer opportunities. You don't have to judge yourself against other mothers, you have the freedom to raise your children in the way you see fit. Furthermore, avoid setting deadlines that are too ambitious. Goals have no expiration date, so instead of feeling sorry for yourself, give yourself a pat on the back and acknowledge your accomplishments. Finally, don't set yourself up for disappointment by having high standards for the appearance of your home. Embrace the chaos at times, but remember that you must do what makes you happy at all times. Emotions of inadequacy. Every generation since the dawn of time has proclaimed to women that we are capable of having it all. The mythology of women being able to do it all and being at the top of their game in order to be noticed is widespread. This is exhausting for anyone who has tried to have it all. This is the story of Hollis's own workaholism, told in her own words. For Hollis, working long hours was the only way she could demonstrate her abilities. As a result of her perception that she was failing at home, she threw herself into her work as a means of numbing her anxiety about her situation. Many women choose to ignore their body's warning signs rather than listen to them in order to feel accomplished and valued. To compensate for feelings of inadequacy, many women overstretch themselves to the point where they are unable to truly appreciate their achievements or celebrate them. Whether it's a small victory or a big one, it's time to believe that we're good enough and to celebrate both. Hollis recommends therapy, to practice self-care and self-love, and to work for joy above all else. When a woman feels inadequate, she may be critical of or competitive with other women. Have you ever witnessed a child having a tantrum in a supermarket? On a plane, have you ever had to sit next to a screamer? Have you ever had an automatic reaction to criticize the mother in any of these situations? When Hollis tells a story about a stranger who she thought was behaving badly, she doesn't hold back in her criticisms. Hollis noticed a child who was behaving badly on a plane and was given a candy bag to calm him down. When Hollis saw the woman later, she realized how judgmental she'd been when she assumed the candy was a punishment for misbehavior. Despite the fact that she appeared distraught, the woman did not appear to be in any danger. Rather than judging others before you know what they are going through, try to offer support and kindness instead. It's essential that we learn to recognize our own tendency to judge others. No matter how confident we may be in our own abilities, we are often wrong about the best course of action to take in a given situation. Avoid those who are judgmental and berate others by surrounding yourself with supportive and kind people. Instead of pointing out the flaws in others, focus on the things they do well. Think about why you're being judgmental and angry with other people. Be honest with yourself about why you're making snap judgments about other people. To be happy, you should be in love. The typical Hollywood film in which a girl undergoes a makeover in order to attract the high school jock may have played a role in your mind. In the past, how many times have you altered your personality or mannerisms in response to someone else's expectations? They become unrecognizable to themselves while in relationships and make it their goal to stay in a relationship. We're all guilty of putting up with a partner's unkind or even abusive behavior because it's just the way things are. We end up in a relationship where we feel like we're the problem because this situation has become normalized. Women must learn to value themselves, and if we don't value ourselves, we can't expect anyone else to value us. You should leave if you're only getting second-class treatment and aren't a priority. The greatest act of self-love you can perform is to walk away from a toxic or unloving relationship. Be sure to seek out the advice of close family and friends when you need help sorting through the fog of love and romantic notions. Encourage self-worth. Nobody will respect you unless you respect yourself first. Ask yourself if the way you relate to yourself sounds healthy and is the best thing you can do for yourself. Give your sex life a new lease on life. Sex and sexuality can cause a lot of anxiety and insecurity for women. In the bedroom, as in other areas of their lives, women often put others before themselves. If you're in a committed relationship, Hollis says that if you enjoy sex, you should make it a priority. There should be no shame in having fun with your husband in the bedroom because you are a Christian, according to the author. Women who have given birth to children may find sex to be particularly challenging, owing to their perceptions of their own physical changes. Hollis argues that we should all be more accepting of our own bodies and practice self-compassion. To make sex enjoyable enough to choose over other activities, she recommends openly discussing with your partner what makes it enjoyable. Don't take your partner's communication for granted, and put effort into your sex life. In the end, for women who need a little encouragement or a lot of motivation, Girl, Wash Your Face is the book for you. To anyone who needs to reevaluate their life direction, she shows how faith can empower and guide them by basing it on her Christian values. We need to take responsibility for our own happiness and allow ourselves to make the necessary changes, according to Hollis. In the end, Hollis says, you must choose to be happy, grateful, and fulfilled, because it is a choice. Every single day, regardless of what's going on, you can be happy if you make that choice. The key to becoming a better version of oneself is to recognize the lies we've accepted about ourselves. Other helpful advice includes dealing with trauma and hardship, communicating when you are vulnerable, and being honest about your feelings. In addition, the author provides advice on rethinking body image, pursuing a healthier body and mind, and avoiding the use of alcohol as a crutch. He also encourages us to be open-minded in all aspects of our lives, including our relationships and our work. Investing in yourself now is more important than ever before. Making excuses, comparing oneself to other people, and waiting for someone to come and save you are all unhealthy coping mechanisms. Instead, take out a piece of paper and start making a list of the things that bring you joy. Starting today, you can take charge of your own happiness. Thank you for listening in Audiobook Academy. Please don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. See you in next audiobook.